die
were gnawed by that terrible hunger
known to nearly every boy in that distant time.
The hunger for their very own pony to ride.
We dreamed the impossible dream.
On their next birthday,
We would awaken to hear our parents gush.
Guess what's tied up out behind the woodshed, son?
Oh, but before you rush out to see what it is.
Oh, you'd better open this present that's in the shape of a saddle.
sure enough, the present would be a saddle.
Then you would tear out of the house.
And there, hidden behind the woodshed, would be your very own pony.
Or you would saddle up your pony and gallop off toward the horizon, pausing only long enough to wave
At your generous and thoughtful,
And loving parents.
the very best parents in the whole world.
Have you ever wanted something so badly that you would do anything to get it?
Anything?
Anything. In a world where little boys ride piggies instead of ponies, get ready for the adventure that two boys take to obtain a pony.
The Alamance Christian School Choric speakers proudly present
Real ponies don't go oink.
by Patrick McManus.
My family was not big on impossible dreams.
Ponies cost money. You think money grows on trees?
Occasionally, I would ride one of our pigs by a kitchen window, hoping to shame Mom into buying me a pony.
It did not work.
Crazy Eddie fared scarcely better.
Would you shut up about a pony? Ponies cost money.
You think money grows on trees?
But my family had a farm.
Yeah, with cows, sheep, pigs, chickens, rabbits, and even a goat.
A pony would have fit right into the Muldoon menagerie.
If you stared hard enough at their pasture, you could easily imagine a pony out there. You could almost see it, in fact.
And one morning,
He did see it.
galloping majestically across the pasture, was a beautiful, huge, glistening black horse.
And Eddie was riding it.
Eddie didn't exactly fit anybody's idea of a cowboy.
The horse's back was so broad that Eddie's stubby legs stuck straight out on either side, as if he were doing an equestrian version of the splits.
From a distance,
The two of them looked like a mouse riding a tall dog.
although saying that out loud would definitely hurt Eddie's feelings.
You look like a mouse riding a tall
Oh,
dog.
you're just jealous. You want to ride? The two of us rode off singing, back in the saddle again. Back in the saddle again. Out where a friend is a friend. Where the longhorn cattle feed on the lonely Timpson weed. I'm back in the saddle again. I'm back in the saddle again. I wish he would stop doing that. We told him weeks ago not to do that anymore. I sure hope we can get this thing back together.
Actually, doing the splits while striding about on horseback isn't nearly as painful as it sounds,
Excruciating, yes.
but scarcely more uncomfortable than that.
Cowboys are tough.
It turned out that old Tom
The horse.
Had recently been destined for another existence in the form of
Fox food.
Ew!
That's gross.
One of the farmers up the road raised foxes for their furs.
And many a worn-out horse.
ended up there as the luncheon special.
But the farmer had plenty of fox food for the time being.
So he asked Eddie's father if he had any use for a horse.
His first week at the Moultons, Tom was still, figuratively, wiping the sweat from his brow over his narrow escape from a career as fox food.
You could not have asked for a sweeter, gentler horse for two little boys.
But after a week or two,
He became so haughty.
He decided he did not want to be ridden at all.
Practically every day,
carrying his bridle.
we trailed Tom from one end of the farm to the other and back again, but almost never caught him.
Then Eddie came up with the idea of roping the horse
When he came to get a drink from the watering trough,
First, though, we needed to find a rope. Eddie's father had been putting a new layer of shingles on the barn.
and had bought a long rope
end of the rope to the tractor, then climbed up a ladder.
And worked his way up over the steep of the roof of the barn to the far side,
where the rope held him in place
while he worked on the shingles.
We found the rope neatly
Coiled by the tractor with the belts resting on top of the coil. Mr. Muldoon must have been taking a coffee break. And he said he didn't think his pa would mind our using the rope to lasso old Tom. He hauled all the rope out to the watering trough, tied a loop, and climbed up on the corral fence above the trough. The excess rope was scattered about the barnyard in coils and assorted snarls.
Presently, old Tom
Came moseying out of the pasture and headed for the trough.
What are you boys up to now?
Nothing, Pa. Why?
Why? Well, because we got my new safety rope snarled all over the barnyard, that's why.
Sorry, Pa.
Eddie turned his attention back to Tom. The horse was dipping its muzzle into the trough.
We're just trying to catch old Tom.
Both boys were intently watching old Tom.
Neither of them noticed Mr. Muldoon pick up the safety belt to strap it on.
I'd help you catch him, son, but I gotta get this barn shingled up before it starts to rain.
Mr. Muldoon started untangling the safety rope and forming it into a coil on the ground.
Tom lifted his dripping muzzle from the trough
And glared up at them
And he threw the lasso around his neck.
and jerked it
The
tight.
horse reared up,
Pawed the air
whinnying angrily,
and bolted for the pasture.
Now what's gotten into old Tom's stupid horse?
I lassoed him.
You did? With what?
all the loops and turns and tangles of the rope slithered this way and that.
Then snapped straight out toward the pasture.
At that instant, Mr. Muldoon took the longest step they'd ever seen anybody take in their lives.
He must have stepped a good 30 feet from takeoff to touchdown.
Wow! Did you see that? Oh my, look at Paul go! I never knew he could run so fast. He must be trying to help us catch old Tom.
Eddie obviously had the fastest father in the county.
Maybe in the whole country. Or even the world. Hey! Old Tom must have been surprised too.
Even terrified when he saw Mr. Muldoon racing after him at such an amazing speed.
Tom kicked up his heels, stretched out, and ran even harder, as if his life depended on it. And guess what?